Hello Tech Genius, I am Ravi. Have you ever imagined a place where learning is as dynamic as the technology shaping your world? Then here's a deal. With iMatix, you can make sure the learning is exciting, impactful right from the beginning. You have interactive sessions with expert-led courses. In the world of tech, from data science to cloud computing, it's not just about a session, it's about doing, building, learning by solving real problems. So let's get started. And we'll say maintain spend categories without hierarchy. Now let's click on add here. And we'll simply say HPP laptop. Say if generation 1 TB SD. Spend category usage. Task using procurement supply invoice expense. This is a trackable item. Now you see under that it's asking first to have the default asset class and asset type. If you're not confident before, you can select from the existing menu. The task is pretty simple. We'll go to that 1 second. Let me see if anything else we have to fill in. Looks good. Now I'll open a duplicate tab here. It's dancing. Here you can define the asset class name. We already have Office. I don't want to create extra things. If you practice, you can do that. I just want to show you the task. It's pretty simple. Maintain asset class. The class of it like heavy equipment, land improvements, computer software, computer hardware, non-residential property, whatever it is, you can add it. Again, you would get all these values from your client. You don't have to build it from your end. Everything single value will come from the client channel. But you just need to be aware of the task name, maintain asset class, and then type. It was acquired, non-acquired, leased, purchased, or others. Whatever it is, you can do that. If you want to say like asset type is, let's say, addable user. And same you mentioned here also. The other thing you can do is asset disposal types. We already have a lot of good values here. No need to add. But just remember the task name. maintain asset disposal types, and will dispose the asset also in these few activities from now. But look at this thing first. Damage, discard, donation, net book value previously cited, expire, loss, sale, share, theft. As a buyer, you would be thinking like, why we donate the asset? Who does that? Remember, some companies do kind of like CSR activities where either they go for plantation or they help the AGOs, and some help with the donation of the assets in terms of like a manufacturing unit. Again, let's take an example of that. I heard it like once in Tergov somebody donated like 500 stitching machines or sewing machines to unprivileged or these women who are from low income background and all those things. That's how the company do it also. That's very rare to see. But that's a practice that some companies follow. But normally you would see it would be sold only. They will sell out that asset. With the theft, they have bad luck. But normally they sell out the assets once they expire or they just completely life cycle. It's with us also, right? When we got our cars, right? What we do with that? What's wrong here? I don't like Workday in the States. Let's this is done. Again, if you want to find out your asset, remember the name of it. You can type it if you just forget. Type this and then just type it again. No asset. It's issued. Asset coordinator if you know. I think from there it's otherwise there's 6 items. I'll just show you something also. This was an asset. The now 49 should be amount. Now we'll talk about some other configurations also. that is required for asset modular asset part. We are done with the asset class and asset type. Now the other thing is disposal type. Also we have clear, like how we would dispose it by selling it off and all those things. Now if you look at this business asset, you can add this to the acquisition cost, add this useful items, changing it from 24 to 36 or whatever you want to. Then you can copy this asset, that is useful life, dispose, impair, maintain asset shares, like it is like being shared with 10 different cost centers or something. You can do that. You can remove this asset. You can suspend the depreciation. You can transfer to a different company also. Now let me see one more thing. This is also important. Very important. Asset book. We have first of all asset books, maintain asset books, then asset books get by company, then maintain asset book rules. First of all, go to maintain asset, not to rules. Maintain asset book. You have different asset books here, just like in company books, accounting, state tax, EMT, federal tax, IFRs, in which you can capture the debt decision or the asset details. We have accounting, state tax, EMT, federal tax. You can add more if you want. But typically for US clients, this is something you would see. Accounting, state tax, EMT, federal tax, IFRs. Now asset book rules. First you have to create the asset book. Then you go to asset book rules. Here you can define that if it is like, for example, this one. Let's say artwork. If you select the artwork and the company currencies, you see an amount threshold is $1,000 and then worst amount versus cost, then it will be marked as non-depreciable capital asset. But remember, like our category was hardware and computers, although we have not further filtered it down with the asset class, and instead I just mentioned the moment somebody listed the asset with hardware computers. The threshold amount is 0, which means anything greater than 0. If you bring that to your cursor here, it will give you a helipad also here. Just read it down. Enter a threshold amount that is a positive value. The absolute value of the asset class must be greater than the threshold amount to apply the asset book. The threshold amount is 0. The appreciable capital asset and 24 straight line method. This is how you have to define the rules here. Hardware servers, like basically, it's like defining a rule that what happens to your asset will be treated as appreciable, non-depreciable. And remember, you always have the option to change it while assigning the accounting information to the asset. I could change it to non-depreciable also, expense also. You always have that liberty. because we are secure hardware computers automatically. It has picked up this 24 straight line method. If you want to change it, you can do it by going to by type, deposition profile, and we come to this deposition profile also in a second. $1,000. Now it's here. Now we are going to do the asset book. We have the international book, asset book rules. You have asset book. Now go to this asset book set up by company. If I type GMS USA, how do we define the asset book to a company? I'll show you. GMS USA, the primary accounting book is this. The primary asset book is accounting. These are the spend categories and the rule associated with this company. GMS UA for federal tax asset book fiscal sheet is this. These are the rules. They are already in the system. How do we define that? Let's go to our this business asset. Maybe it doesn't have access to the type of asset book. These are tasks that you need to do. This is a task. Add company asset book. Controller and implementers. Let's add business asset techniques. Let's add a business asset. Let's add a business asset. You can see we have defined 3 books here. Accounting we have defined as a practical, and then we have set the rules we just saw. But if you want, you can add one more asset here, like MDIS, whatever you want. Let's say MD. And then we define the fiscal sheet here. This asset book has been added to the GMS as USA, and the asset book rule will work with the background. These are the asset book rules for accounting. We have defined the threshold amount, the cost, the treatment, and on. Now we create this depreciation profile also. First, let's check out once how this is configured. We create a position profile. Again, this is the guideline method. If you want to create one very easy, create your depreciation profile. Let's say we'll create 12 straight line depreciation profile. Deposition method. And again, just to let you know, you cannot have depreciation method on your own. It's Workday delivered. I have checked this with Workday also. By raising the case, can we create our own depreciation method? They said no, it's Workday delivered. You have to use whatever it is. Deposition rate basis, it will be periods. That depreciate the amount by periods, not by days. This would be very pathetic. Like every day it gets depreciated. Although that is true, but now in general practice we follow the monthly depreciation ways. Useful life period is 12. Remember, we are talking about periods. 12 means 12 months. Place in service based on manually or when issued. Deposition convention. We'll say current period. Means the current month. When this is done, we go back to what I said. This is what I said. Let's play around with some features of it. We are doing useful life here. Let's do it. It's in accounting only. What happened? Oh, not better? This is for you. just for the guide, sending it out. This goes in here much when you will say 1000, price is 2000. You're sending it in. If you want to dispose a few percentage part of it, then yes, you can say 20%, 30%. You're selling the overall part of it. But if you're selling the entire 100%, just put 100% here. Again, it's going to be at M only. Complete asset disposal account information. This is done. Now, if you look at this asset, it's disposed. Disposal method is same. If you look at the asset cost, it's 0 now because you have sold out the asset. Current capital cost is 0. If you look at the life cycle, asset disposal done by Adam on this particular date, the deposition details showing you because it was calculated the time of this asset. But now it will not work because as you sold the asset. We'll create the asset through one more way. Restoring asset you saw. Remember task? Now you can also do the same by using EIB also. That's another way. Or you can import this EIB data into Workday for all the legacy assets. Other way is creating the asset through supply invoice. We'll look at the BPF supply invoice. We'll get the supply invoice. See this section here? And that's everyone configures in the supply. The invoice has at least one trackable line. It's tagged by capital project plan. It's not an adjustment or an installment. The new trackable line is asset accounted. And then initiate asset decision from invoice. And this is a service only. We don't have to worry about it. Then again I send an account information from invoice. Business asset accounted. We'll create one invoice and we'll check it out. We'll just take a 5-minute break and then we'll start this process. We'll take off the company here. Supplier. Let's pick up any supplier. And then quotas. Let's see more. And invoice number. Supplier, let me see. Then total amount. I would change it. We'll get rid of this. We'll add our own name. Are you serious? Didn't I mark that for supplying? Supply, 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 supply. I made it like HP but did not tell. Is it good now? Let's go and we should get trackable. Let's get a new stack table. We'll call tree1. We'll call our 6500. All of a sudden, if you want to use it, you'll be fine. People never. Some noise. We'll wait. It doesn't want to know our peers. Up to 1 by 1 controller. Now see the title here, Review Trackable Invoice Lines. As part of the PP service line, it's Review Trackable Invoice Lines. And it has gone to, again, Teresa Serrano or Adam Carvey. We'll link in proxy as Adam Carvey. Then you back in the noise lines. If you want to market something else like this, depletion of radical acid, approve. Let's see if it has been done. Let's go to this one. If you go here, where is the asset here? This is the asset ID. And spending for the session. Lifecycle and process history. Spending for who? Again, Adam in the rotary inbox. And we'll see information here. Asset protection. Laptop for beginners as an identifier. AP civilian. 6 serial number and the manufacturer HP. Office of the CEO. This will work there if you want to. Asset type. Coordinating call center, asset coordinator. Anything else? Then think of the appreciable, right? Submit. What will be the residual value of this? We can say a 5-minute mark. The market value is the position profile. And remember, we had little to 12. Current period straight line. What would be the end service, start date, end date? We can mention that also if you want. Business use, that would be 100% use for business. Location will not put anything like that because we transfer this to the system. Another location would be used in this asset. Let's submit here. Open this asset. There's the Serrano. That position summary, that position detail would be here for 12 months. Go to here. And as you can see, as we have created this from invoice, Sarano's document name is showing as invoice. Now, if you create the same from a requisition, you would see that also. If you want to just practice in your spare time, do a requisition. In that requisition, use the spend category. And from there get the PO, the receipt, supply and invoice, and then see what happens. Now if I want to go here, you can impair this asset, maintain asset shares, remove asset, suspend depreciation, transfer to a different company, change depreciation, accounting status, all those things you can do, but it's more of like a practice thing. Now we have seen the asset part. There's one more thing called register composite asset that I want to go through for you. You have something called maintain asset pooling rules. You see this also. What we are telling the system is that if the company is GPS not GMS, GPS USA, GMS is here, but we'll take this example. Office equipment and equipment, office equipment. And the quantity we have mentioned is greater than 5. Unit cost threshold is then 2T. And the company that is using will mark it as a pooling asset. How I will show you. If you click cancel here, just popped it right. The first thing is the respect on both the assets. Here we would say again HP. Asset name. Laptop. Test. Composite asset. Asset required. Now all simple. It's not required. Now under that search for asset to be added to the composite assets. The composite assets is a mix of multiple assets. Let's say any purchase orders or supply invoices for this asset. Normally you would have, for practice purpose, I'm not taking those examples. You can do practice later on, but in real world scenario, you cannot have an asset at all without a purchase order and a supplier. You would have proper trackers. You know, how did you get this asset? From which supplier? Who raised the PO? Who approved the PO? Asset means a lot of amount for the company. It's not like 10 or 20 asset. They are not the assets. Assets are like in millions also. In India also. If you buy land for your factory, that should be in crores. There will be a PO. There will be an agreement. There will be supply. You have to mention that. Get acquired on or after. Work that. What happened? More assets for all this? Now let's create these assets. We'll have to mention is done. And that, but here is, all this is done. Now we come back to, that one. As it will you? Just to show you an example, one of these been real. One second please. One second. Yes, this is done as you can see. If you like this video, please like, share and subscribe to our YouTube channel.